the Design and Remodeling Show with Custom Built.
Welcome to the Design and Remodeling Show, where we discuss all things home improvement. I'm Isabel Broidigan with Custom Built Design and Remodeling, and we've reached out to the community to ask for problems people are facing during construction. So I've got Josh Baines, our production manager at Custom Built, and then Michael Flory, founder and CEO, here to join me on this topic. So before we dive in, I'd love to hear a little bit of your backgrounds. Michael, we've heard from you before, so Josh, I'm going to pass it to you. Could you tell me a little bit more about your background in construction, when you started on this journey, and what brought you here today?
Sure. Yeah, I spent a lot of time as a child on job sites. My dad owned a construction company, so 8, 9, 10 years old, sweeping job sites, working through little stuff with him through high school, obviously working summers with him. Went to college with the attempt to get out of the construction field, and it drew me right back in as soon as I got out, started selling lumber. Met Michael at that point, and then continued on selling lumber for 10 or 12 years, and then back into the construction field, owned my own business for a little while.
Wow. So
And then I've been here about 10 years now.
Yeah. So you've, been in construction almost your whole life then.
Yeah. Yep, feels like from diapers on.
That's awesome. And Michael, obviously we know a little bit about your story if the viewers have listened to episode 1 or 3, but tell us just about your construction background.
Yeah, I jumped in kind of late. Josh got started really early. I was 24 years old when I had to make a massive shift in life, and my wife was going to be a doctor, and we got pregnant with our first. That happens to be you, Isabel. And so that was the beginning of my construction thing, and we bought a couple of houses, and I flipped a few houses, and I was kind of getting my feet wet doing that. And then a few years later, we ended up starting Custom Built, and I had worked with my best friend Aaron, and he had taught me a lot about building. Went out and got my builder's license, and then I jumped in and really didn't have a lot of experience, but I had a passion and a desire to build stuff. So learned how to strap on pouches and go out and build. We built a lot of decks early on. Okay,
so both of you have been swinging the hammer. You not so much today, you're more on the sales, coaching side, right, leading the team. Josh, you're still out in the field day to day. What does that look like today? Like, what does your design and production manager, so that has a lot already, but what does your day-to-day look like?
Yeah, a lot of it now is mentoring and teaching out in the field, training some of our earlier career people, some of the techniques that I've learned over time. Also managing all of our subcontractors, all our tradesmen and stuff like that.
All right.
Well, you tend to get a lot of the challenges though. I mean, you kind of be the person that stays calm and tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, the remodeling game is full of challenges. It's not new construction. We're dealing with existing homes that have a lot of quirks, a lot of hidden surprises. So every day it's a new challenge for us to overcome. We're very creative. We've got a lot of good solutions. So we just take them as they come, one at a time.
Yeah. If you looked at his phone at the end of the day, you would think, how in the world did he handle all that? But it seems like, you got a lot of knowledge, and you can make suggestions. But you have raised up many people now within our team that are doing it, and we brought some people into the company.
Yeah, and that part's great for me. I really enjoy taking the early career people and teaching them the right way to do things. So again, I've been in it about 30 years. I've seen quite a bit of it. There's still a few things that surprise me every once in a while, but again, all your past experiences lead to your creative solutions. So we find our way through it.
Awesome.
Yeah. All right, well, now we're going to jump into those problems I mentioned earlier in the episode that we're going to actually dive in. So we've reached out to our community. We've got a couple questions. First one is from Jacob in Lansing. So he says, we're in the middle of our kitchen remodel and we just realized our new microwave doesn't fit into the space the contractor built for it. Even worse, the electrical outlet for our range is on the wrong side. How could we have avoided these problems, and what do we do now? So Josh, we see a lot of this on the day-to-day, or not really, I don't know, you tell me. Do we?
Yeah, our hope is not to see a lot of that. It's why we do a lot up front. Our design process is very extensive. Figuring all these selections out, there's a lot to it. Ranges and plugs, they have different plug fittings, ends. So we've got to figure out exactly what we're putting in there. Each one has very specific locations. In order to push a range all the way back, they have recessed areas in the back of the stove where you can still have a plug and push it back. If you put it in the wrong place, you could have a range that's sticking 4 or 5 inches out past the countertop. So it's a real issue, and it's only solved with preparation. I mean, we've got to figure these things out up front.
Yeah, so on our end as a contractor, we do all of that during the design phase, right? We place where the plugs are going to go and everything. What about for Jacob? I mean, he's got this issue now. What would you suggest?
Yeah, the unfortunate part is you're going backwards now. I mean, you've got a finished space, you're putting in appliances, probably have dinner figured for tomorrow, and you've got people coming over. Well, you're opening up drywall, we've got new paint, we're probably running a new circuit. It's a bad situation, and it really gets exacerbated by these issues. I mean, not planning properly. So, yeah, it's unfortunate, but that's the only way to fix it is to open it up and start over.
Yeah, and one of the things that happens in that scenario is you got to get, unless you're, I don't know if it's a DIY project or not, but if he had hired an electrician, he's got to get a hold of that electrician, and that electrician's probably got 10 jobs before him now. So when can he actually get, so you might be cooking dinner with the range pushed out for 3 or 4 weeks, and then you got to get the plug moved, and then you got to get your drywall back done, and you got to paint it again. So it's going to be a bit. I mean, that's some of the things that come along with it, whether you're DIYing or if you're self-managing a project. If you're hiring a contractor, of course, like us, design build, we make a mistake like that, we're going to have to solve that as fast as possible.
And for us, if there is some sort of mistake like that, I mean, I've heard, Josh, like your connections with the trades, like we've built established relationships, they're working multiple projects, so it's a little bit easier for you to call them and say,
I mean, we definitely,
here.
I mean, we're using these guys every day, every week for some of them 10 years. I mean, we've got real good established relationships. They understand the pressure that we're under to turn these things around, so we can typically have enough influence to get them back on the job quickly.
Yeah.
And just speaking to Jake specifically, it's frustrating, but Josh deals with all kinds of issues on a day-to-day basis, and one of the things that makes him a great production manager and a mentor and a coach is he just stays calm. What's the next thing you got to do? You got to call the electrician. You got to, you got to move the plug. You got to tear out the drywall. So just get after it, and you'll solve it.
Yeah. So what about the microwave issue that Jacob's facing? I mean, does he just need to get a new cabinet, new microwave,
Yeah, I mean, it's one of two things. If you got something that doesn't fit, it's a smaller microwave or a bigger cabinet. So in a lot of cases, you can still modify the cabinets depending on how much space was there. That would be my hope for him, because if you're ordering a new cabinet, you could be waiting 5, 6, 7 weeks. So it could be a real hiccup in his project.
All right. Well, Jacob, we appreciate you reaching out. Sounds like we've got some solutions for you. We wish you the best in that. Next question comes from Luke in Williamston. So he says, we're about to start our home renovation, and our contractor mentioned using allowances for things like fixtures and finishes. But I've heard from friends that choosing everything up front might be better. How do we decide which approach to take, and what are the pros and cons to each?
Yeah, again, I mean, this gets back to the selections. I mean, it's the same place Jacob was just stuck. I mean, you got to do this stuff up front. If you don't, there's going to be delays. I mean, you could find out later that you've got the same issue. You put a plug in the wrong place. Even back-ordered units, I mean, we don't start a project until we get everything on site, because we're worried about back orders. We're worried about availability. We all lived through COVID and the unavailability of products and things of that nature. So we understand it, and it's why we wait and stage our jobs properly, because it's going to lengthen the process if you don't.
And I would kind of maybe take another approach, which is why we have a team. I'm the eternal optimist. Let's get going on this thing. Let's jump off the cliff, and that's why Josh and I are such a good team together. I'm on the front end on the sales and the design side. So I get wanting to use allowances because you can start doing the demo right away, right? Like if you have to make all your selections, that takes time. You got to go to the store. You got to talk to the vendor. I mean, when you're talking allowances, it's not just like the appliances. We're talking, I mean, I don't know what exactly this project is, but you're going to have your flooring allowances.
It's a kitchen.
It's a kitchen. So flooring and cabinets and countertops and faucets, and all of those are items, and they, down to little details. So it gets down to the nitty gritty and making that decision, and you can't decide between that color and this color. So the offer is, we'll just get started and we'll do this allowance. Like I said, I'm an optimist, so I think it's all going to work out. Josh, being our production manager, he sees everything that doesn't work out, so it's a risk management thing. The nice thing I think, again, about the allowance is that you could get started sooner. If everything goes perfect, maybe you don't notice the hiccups, I will say you don't know what your project's going to cost. And often you hear that like jobs run 20, 30, 40, it's industry, common people that have built houses, they know based on allowances that what they originally thought the project was going to cost, it ends up costing a lot more. Where when you make all of your selections and you eliminate your allowances up front, there's more certainty that the job is going to cost what you thought it was going to be. So.
Okay. All right, so Luke, our recommendation to you would be, meet with your contractor. If you can, let's go the route of selecting all of your finishes beforehand to avoid what Jacob's experiencing right now. If not, allowances will allow you to get started quicker, but you might end up with some hiccups down the road. All right, so our next question comes from Sarah in Mason, and she asks, our contractor wants to start demo next week, but some of the materials are on back order. He says we can begin with allowances for delayed items and choose alternative items later if needed. Is this a good idea? If not, what are the potential issues that could arise? So we're talking
similar.
It sounds like
they're going right down the same road again.
Yeah.
It's a risk, and as much as it's exciting to get into demo, living through a remodeling process is not fun. So as much as it's great to open up this space, wipe it out. You see on HGTV all the time, they've got big demo days and everybody's excited to tear it apart. They don't all talk about the 8, 10, 12 weeks that they live without this kitchen. So getting everything set up front and make sure you can move as efficiently as possible is huge.
Yeah, and I think the difference could be between like 6 weeks of getting the kitchen done and 16 weeks.
Right.
Because there was 10 weeks in there where you're waiting for products. And Josh, you can speak to this a little bit, but like why can't you just get the punch list done? Or
right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, so if, let's say a good example is like the backsplash is back ordered. How does that hold up?
Right, different components will stop other people from working. If we can't finish the backsplash, then we don't put in the finished plugs, then we can't paint. And so all of those things start to slide. And of course, everybody's availability is different. So, it's a house of cards. When it starts coming down, it comes down. So making sure that we have a good schedule that we can keep it's good for all of the players involved. It's good for the homeowner and it's good for the finished product.
Yeah, and I think it's good for us, the builder.
Absolutely. We got to sleep at night too.
Yeah, when I do deals where there's uncertainty or there's things that aren't, which I can be known for that, right? A little bit, where maybe something's not really clear. You want to know what's clear, what's certain. So I think the more that you can, get those products figured out and make sure the lead times are going to be good before you start is probably better. You're going to have a shorter project where you're under that stress of your house being tore up.
Awesome. All right, so one more question from the community today. So this comes from Bert in Lansing. He says, we're 2 weeks into our kitchen remodel and there's dust everywhere. It's in our bedrooms, coating our furniture, and I think I'm even tasting it. We're constantly cleaning up, but can't keep up. To make matters worse, we just discovered that the carpet leading to the basement is ruined from all the foot traffic. We weren't planning to replace it. We didn't even know they needed to go into our basement. Is this normal, and what can we do now?
Well, dust is definitely normal. How you treat it can be abnormal. I guess I would ask him, what did he expect out of his contractor? What kind of setup do they do? We have a very defined system. We call it our clean remodel system, where we protect the floors. We put up zip walls. We use negative pressure in the room so that we draw that dust out. We cover up cold air returns. We cover up heat registers so that we're not drawing it into the furnace. Because when you start seeing dust in the second floor and we're working in the basement, it's because it's drawn it through your central heating system and it's blowing it everywhere. The other thing is you can really damage your furnace with that too. It gets all that drywall dust in there and it can crash your whole system. So we do a lot to protect it. His question about being in the basement, you don't think about it, you're doing a kitchen. Why am I in the basement? Well, you got to get to the electrical panel. You have to get to the water supply. You got to get to your gas. So, all those things we make sure anywhere we're going to walk, we have floor protection down so that we're not replacing carpet that they didn't intend on replacing. We're sealing off systems, and we're creating negative pressure. Dust, even in the best of situations, it gets places where it doesn't belong. But we do our very best to suppress that. So.
Yeah.
What are some of the practical things? I mean, as the guys are out there on site, could you paint a picture for what it looks like? Like we get on site day one or before we're demoing?
Yeah, so day one, I mean, as soon as we get there, I mean, we're putting cling wrap down on all the carpet. We're putting floor protection on all the hardwoods and hard floors. We're putting up zip walls to contain the actual demo site. And then we're sealing off any return air so that we're not drawing any of that air into their furnace.
Awesome.
And I would just add on to that, before you begin any remodel project, you got to count your cost. It's exciting up front, but you're going to get what we call remodeling fatigue. And the less of these things that we have that are like major issues on the job site, the better it's going to go. So if you don't have a counselor, you may want to get a counselor. If your marriage isn't in good repair, you might want to do a little bit of work on that beforehand. Very important, because these are real issues that come up and can be very frustrating through the process.
Yeah, awesome. Well, thanks so much, Josh and Michael. It's great to pick your brains and just to get some answers out to our community. We thank you all for watching today and look forward to connecting more. We'll be doing more episodes where we get out into our community and help solve problems. I'm here with Stuart from Northville Lumber. Welcome, Stuart.
Hi, Isabel. Thanks for having us.
Absolutely. So today I want to dive into wood storage. When a homeowner is done with their project and they've got their leftover wood that they want to keep for a future project, what is the best way for them to store it?
Well, the most important thing in most wood species is to keep moisture at bay. Keep the product dry, covered in some way, and stacked in a flat or possibly even a vertical orientation.
Okay, that makes so much sense. So does it matter the type of wood species?
No, everything is kind of the same, except if you have something that's maybe preservative treated, that's meant for outdoor use, then a little bit of water is okay. Stacked flat and straight is still important, but if you have, say, something you're using for interior trim, obviously that would be affected by moisture much more than something intended to be used outside.
Okay. So in general, indoor storage is preferred. If you don't have the space and you've got more construction grade lumber, then outdoor storage could be okay?
Yes. Again, preservative treated, little moisture is okay. Anything else needs to be covered.
Got it. And then what about preventing warping, cupping, chipping? How can a homeowner do that?
Usually those situations all start with moisture. So if you can keep any of the water off of the wood and keep it stacked, flat, or vertical, you should be able to avoid most of those situations.
Amazing. And if anyone wants to reach you, where can they find you, Stuart?
Go to northvillelumber.com or call us anytime.
Thank you so much for your time today.
You're welcome.
I'm here with Kelsey from Paul Davis Restoration, and we're going to dive into mold remediation. So welcome, Kelsey.
Hi, I'm excited to be here.
Awesome. So if a homeowner suspects mold in their home, what are the first steps they should take?
The first step that you should take is stop and call a professional, such as Paul Davis Restoration. They're probably going to come in and recommend an IH, which is an industrial hygienist, and they test the mold and tell us what it is that we're dealing with so we know how to properly clean it up for you.
Amazing. So I know you mentioned stop, call a professional. There's a lot of DIYers out there, a lot of people who like to jump in and solve the problem themselves. Is there ever a scenario where you would recommend that a homeowner deals with mold by themselves?
I can't recommend dealing with mold by yourself, and that's for a couple reasons. One, you don't know what you're dealing with until you get it tested. And two, if you're not using the proper tools and techniques, it can easily become a bigger issue. In the cleanup process, you can accidentally spread it around your home, and then it becomes a way huger thing than you wanted to deal with, and a professional will come in and help you keep it a small issue.
Okay, that makes so much sense. And then what about prevention? How can a homeowner prevent mold from growing in their home?
Yeah, so that's really three things: dehumidification, ventilation, and then proper cleanup. And the ventilation can be turning on the fan when you're taking a shower, and also making sure you're looking fully around at your home. We see a lot of attics that have mold in them due to improper ventilation. And then whenever you have water or mold issues, just making sure you're getting it cleaned and dried properly so that way it doesn't become a bigger issue down the road.
That makes so much sense. This was super informational, Kelsey. Thanks so much for your time today.
Thank you.
I'm here with Dan from Acme Exteriors, and today we're going to talk about windows. Dan, I was at a client's house the other day and they were dealing with fogged glass. Can you walk me through why that happened?
Yeah, so modern windows today have an insulated glass, which is typically 2 pieces of glass with an area in between that's usually filled with argon gas, is the typical gas that we use. And what happens is that seal fails and the gas escapes and allows outside air in. And that ends up leaving a residue on the inside of the glass.
Okay. So when a homeowner is faced with that, what are their options?
Unfortunately, it typically means the glass needs to be replaced. You've lost the efficiency in that glass, so it's not insulating as well anymore. And then, of course, it's unsightly. You can't see through it clearly.
Yeah. Can you just replace the glass portion and still have the insulated benefits, I guess?
Yeah. So you can hire a local glass company, and usually they can just replace the glass itself as long as your window's in good condition.
Okay, awesome. So then once a homeowner is faced with that, their options are either to replace the glass or replace the entire window. What about preventing the fog from the beginning?
Sure. Maintaining your windows is important, making sure that they're clean and sealed on the outside. But first and foremost, at the beginning, making sure that you install a good quality window. And a lot of times those windows have warranties for that seal failure. And making sure that you hire a good quality contractor that is going to install it correctly, because if you don't install it correctly, you can have that seal failure too.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much, Dan, for this information.
Thanks,
Super
Isabel.
helpful. I'm here with Heather from Carpet Studio Flooring America, and today, Heather, I'd love to dive into hardwood flooring. When people come to you, what tips do you give them when choosing the right hardwood flooring for their home?
At Carpet Studio, our main objective is to make sure that the flooring they choose is something they're going to be able to live with and live on for a very long time and be very happy with. So we ask questions, we call it qualifying, to the customers on what their dynamic is at home, and make sure to give correct expectations as to how the hardwood floor will work with that type of situation. We want them to live and love their floors.
Yeah. So talking about living on their floors,
Yes.
what are some of those care tips when it comes to hardwood flooring that you will give your clients?
We don't want them to use excessive moisture when cleaning the floors, simply cleaning off the dust and debris that might accumulate on them. Using the repair kits that you can get for the flooring to keep up on the maintenance of the flooring.
Yeah.
Using the correct product, which we do send home with the customers, to clean their floor so it doesn't have a buildup on it.
Okay, awesome. And then if somebody does get their hardwood installed by Carpet Studio, what is your warranty?
Lifetime for installation. And because of our buying groups, we're able to offer 25, 35, and 50-year warranties for their hardwoods. So it is a wonderful product. It provides warmth and depth and design. It is a beautiful thing to have in your home. Just go to the correct store to be able to purchase the product.
Thank you, Heather.
You're welcome.
I'm here with Sam from Consumers Concrete, and today we're going to dive into retaining walls. What should a homeowner consider when they are going to install a retaining wall?
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of factors when it comes to retaining walls. Every site's unique. You need to understand your site layout and existing conditions on site to make sure your wall lasts forever. The first thing I always ask a homeowner or contractor is, how tall is your wall? The height of your wall is super important. Taller walls are going to have more pressure than shorter walls. The other thing you're going to want to check out is if you need to pull a permit. Check with your local township whether you need to pull a permit or engineered drawings on your wall. I've seen walls as short as 4 feet that need a permit pulled.
Wow.
The other two things that I would consider is what's your soil and what's on top of your wall. Whether it's clay or sandy soils, clay is going to hold more water, whether it's a driveway or a sidewalk on top. Driveway is going to put more pressure on your wall than a sidewalk would. You also want to make sure that you're trying to route water and keep potential water sources away from your wall.
Okay. And why is that so important to keep water away from your retaining wall?
Yeah, that's the number one question, right? Water's the number one enemy of walls, especially here in Michigan. We've got this lovely thing called winter. We've got that freeze thaw. As water expands, it has the potential to push out your wall. Water can actually increase the pressure behind your wall by 2 times what's normally present. We want to make sure we're keeping eaves troughs, gutters, sprinkler systems away from your wall as much as possible and routing those away with a drain tile.
Okay. And then when they're choosing a contractor for this project, is that like an important part? Do you have any tips for?
Yeah, absolutely. So you want an experienced and a certified wall contractor. If you reach out to us, we can put you in touch with a certified wall installer. Reach out to us at consumersconcrete.com.
All right, awesome. Thank you, Sam.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm here with Michael Flory, founder and CEO of Custom Built, and today we're going to dive into design build firms. So can you start by telling me what makes a design build firm different from traditional remodeling?
Yeah, just on a high level, traditional remodeling versus design build. Traditional remodeling requires you as the homeowner to coordinate a lot of people. The design build is you got one point of contact, and done well, you'll have one person that will be your guide through the entire process. I would say with another big difference with traditional remodeling, on top of having to coordinate, you're probably going to an outside designer, an outside cabinet company to help you pick out your cabinets. Flooring, you're doing a lot of running around. Again, with the design build model, you have one point of contact. Within that company exists the design team. They have all the parts and players. So your front person that you're working with that's going to be with you to guide you through the whole thing has all those resources within the 4 walls of their business. Thus, reducing your time from a lot of time, maybe 10x time savings times, or maybe even 100x in some cases, where working with a remodeling company versus working with a design build company, it's going to save you a lot of time.
Wow. So, I mean, you've touched on it already, but really for homeowners, then the big benefit is time saving. What else?
Right. I would say on the flip side, there might be a money savings if you're going to go traditional remodel route. So if you want to be that coordinator, if you want to schedule things, if you want to deal with warranty issues, getting the materials there on site, handling, rescheduling everybody when things fall apart. Because on the design build side, they're going to handle all of that. A lot of the stuff you won't even notice. A lot of times we have to remind customers of all the things that we solved because it can feel very seamless until something goes wrong. But everyday stuff goes wrong. So.
Amazing. Thank you, Michael.
Yeah.
I hope you've been enjoying the Design and Remodeling Show, where we talk all things expert insights and practical tips to help you transform the place you live into a home you love. We look forward to seeing you next time.
Thank you for watching the Design and Remodeling Show with Custom Built. See you next week.